Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone disrespects you, leaving you feeling frustrated, angry, or powerless? Whether it's a colleague, a friend, or even a family member, dealing with disrespect can be draining. But what if I told you that there's a powerful, timeless philosophy that can help you navigate these situations with strength and grace? In today's video, we'll explore 8 effective ways to handle people who don't respect you, inspired by the ancient teachings of Stoicism. Stoicism, a philosophy that's been transforming lives for over 2,000 years, teaches us how to control our reactions, maintain our inner peace, and rise above external chaos. The wisdom of the Stoics has helped some of history's greatest minds remain unshaken, no matter how turbulent life became. In this video, we'll show you how to stop being a victim of disrespect and start using Stoic principles to reclaim your power, your peace, and your sense of self-worth. Stay with us until the end, and discover how you can turn every challenge into an opportunity for growth. Ready to transform your mindset? Let's dive in. 1. Focus on what you can control. At the core of Stoicism is this powerful truth: we can only control ourselves. Our thoughts, our actions, and our responses. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to feel the urge to fight back, retaliate, or even argue. But the Stoic way teaches us to let go of the need to control others, and instead, focus on how we respond. This doesn't mean you should accept bad behavior. It means you empower yourself by controlling your reaction, not letting external forces control your peace of mind. When you focus on your response, you break free from the cycle of anger and frustration. You regain control. And remember, no one can disrespect you unless you allow it. Your peace is yours to protect. 2. Recognize that disrespect is a reflection of them, not you. One of the hardest things to accept when we face disrespect is the instinct to internalize it. It's natural to feel hurt, confused, or even angry when someone disrespects us. We might wonder, why would they treat me this way? What did I do to deserve this? But in the philosophy of Stoicism, there's a powerful truth that can help us navigate this situation: disrespect from others is often a reflection of their own issues, not a measure of our worth. The Stoics understood that our internal peace should not be shaken by the actions or opinions of others. In fact, the famous Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that we are not disturbed by things, but by the view we take of them. The disrespectful behavior of others may feel personal, but it's crucial to step back and examine the situation from a broader perspective. Understanding projection. To understand why someone might disrespect us, we need to grasp the idea of projection. Projection happens when people unconsciously transfer their own negative emotions or unresolved issues onto someone else. For instance, a person who feels insecure may lash out at others in an attempt to mask their own feelings of inadequacy. Similarly, someone who has been mistreated in the past may project that pain onto others, even when they have no reason to. When someone disrespects you, it's often their insecurities, frustrations, or unresolved emotional issues that are at play. Their rude comments, dismissive behavior, or even outright hostility often have nothing to do with you, but everything to do with them. The person disrespecting you may be reacting to their own inner turmoil, rather than any real flaw or action on your part. For example, imagine someone dismisses your ideas in a meeting. Instead of feeling personally attacked or assuming that you're not valued, you could consider that their behavior might stem from their own insecurities about their position or status. Perhaps they feel threatened by your ideas because they perceive them as a challenge to their authority or competence. Recognizing this dynamic allows you to maintain your own sense of worth, regardless of their behavior. The power of detachment. One of the greatest lessons from Stoicism is the idea of detachment. The Stoics didn't advocate for complete indifference or a lack of empathy, but rather for the ability to detach our self-worth from the judgments or actions of others. When we allow ourselves to be defined by the opinions of others, we lose our power. By recognizing that someone's disrespect is more about their internal struggles than about our value as a person, we free ourselves from the emotional weight of their behavior. Consider this Stoic exercise: the next time someone disrespects you, pause for a moment and remind yourself, this is about them, not me. It's about their frustrations, their fears, and their unresolved emotions. It's not about your worth, your intelligence, or your character. This simple shift in perspective helps to diminish the emotional impact of the disrespect. The Stoics were keenly aware of the fact that our emotions are often triggered by our judgments and interpretations of events. By changing the way we interpret someone's behavior, we can change how we feel about it. If you perceive disrespect as a reflection of the other person's emotional baggage rather than a commentary on your own value, you release yourself from the negative emotions it could provoke. This isn't to say that you should ignore disrespect or let it slide. Rather, the key is to recognize that their behavior does not diminish your worth. It simply reflects their own internal state. When you grasp this truth, you can respond with greater wisdom, empathy, and, above all, self-respect. The importance of self-awareness. In Stoicism, self-awareness is an essential component of emotional resilience. If we are not self-aware, we risk falling into the trap of taking everything personally, including disrespect. When we understand ourselves and our own values, we can hold firm to our sense of worth, even when others try to tear it down. Disrespect only has power over us if we allow it to affect our self-concept. Imagine you've just been criticized by a colleague in front of others, and their words sting. In that moment, it's crucial to check in with yourself. Ask, why am I feeling upset? Is it because I value this person's opinion too much? Or is it because I feel insecure about myself? By taking a moment for self-reflection, you can identify why the disrespect is affecting you so strongly and make a conscious decision to respond in a way that aligns with your values and sense of self-worth. Recognizing that someone's disrespect is a reflection of their inner struggles, rather than a reflection of your own value, allows you to take control of your emotional response. It's not an easy practice, but it's one that can significantly increase your emotional resilience and peace of mind in the face of conflict. The emotional liberation of letting go. Letting go of the need for others' approval or validation is liberating. The Stoics understood that our happiness should not be contingent upon the opinions of others. When we let someone else's disrespect define our self-worth, we hand over the reins of our emotional well-being to them. We give them power over us. But when we recognize that disrespect says more about the person offering it than about us, we take back that power. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, frequently reminded himself that the opinion of others is not my concern. When someone disrespects you, their opinion is just that, an opinion. It doesn't define who you are. By releasing the grip of others' opinions on your self-worth, you free yourself from the emotional burden of disrespect and maintain a sense of inner peace. 3. Practice empathy and seek understanding. One of the most transformative tools in Stoicism is empathy, the ability to put ourselves in another person's shoes and understand where they're coming from. This principle, while challenging at times, can completely shift our approach to conflict, especially when we encounter disrespect. When someone disrespects us, it's easy to react impulsively. We may feel anger rising within us, followed by a desire to retaliate or set them straight. However, the Stoic approach to conflict is to pause, take a step back, and attempt to understand the other person's perspective before reacting. This moment of reflection can turn a potentially volatile interaction into an opportunity for growth, understanding, and wisdom. Why empathy matters in conflict. Empathy doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or allowing someone to mistreat you. It simply means attempting to understand why they are acting the way they are. Empathy opens the door to more measured, thoughtful responses. By trying to see the situation through the eyes of the person who disrespects you, you may uncover the root of their behavior, often something unrelated to you entirely. When we respond out of empathy, we shift the focus from defending ourselves to understanding the other person. This doesn't necessarily mean we accept or condone their behavior, but it does allow us to approach the situation with greater patience and insight. Instead of viewing disrespect as a personal attack, we can see it as an expression of the other person's inner turmoil or struggles. For example, let's say a colleague makes a sharp comment about your work during a meeting. Instead of responding defensively or feeling hurt, you pause and consider, what might be driving this behavior? Could they be dealing with stress at home? Are they feeling insecure about their own performance? Is there a personal issue affecting their judgment? This moment of reflection doesn't excuse their disrespect, but it allows you to view their behavior through a lens of understanding rather than immediate retaliation. Empathy doesn't equal tolerance of disrespect. A common misconception about empathy is that it requires us to tolerate bad behavior. This is not true. Empathy helps us to understand the reasons behind someone's actions, but it does not mean we must accept disrespect or mistreatment. On the contrary, empathy can strengthen our ability to set healthy boundaries and communicate our needs more effectively. For example, if a friend speaks to you in a rude manner, empathy allows you to understand that they may be stressed or going through a difficult time. However, that understanding doesn't mean you should accept ongoing disrespect. Empathy allows you to say, I understand that you may be having a tough time, but I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. This approach combines understanding with self-respect and the ability to protect your boundaries. Empathy helps us avoid escalation. One of the key benefits of practicing empathy in the face of disrespect is that it helps prevent escalation. When we respond with understanding, we're less likely to become defensive, aggressive, or hostile. Instead, we can de-escalate the situation by responding with patience and calm. This not only diffuses the immediate tension but also allows us to handle the situation in a more constructive way. In a heated conversation, if you can take a moment to empathize with the other person's perspective, you might recognize that they are not attacking you personally but are struggling with their own frustrations. This realization allows you to respond in a way that is both compassionate and firm, without reacting emotionally. Instead of getting caught in the cycle of defensiveness and retaliation, you can engage in a dialogue that seeks resolution and understanding. Empathy cultivates emotional intelligence. Practicing empathy in the face of disrespect also helps to cultivate emotional intelligence, an essential skill for navigating all areas of life. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions while also recognizing and understanding the emotions of others. By practicing empathy, we enhance our emotional intelligence, which, in turn, helps us respond to difficult situations with greater maturity and wisdom. When we approach disrespect with empathy, we recognize that the other person's behavior is often a symptom of their own emotional state. Whether they are upset, insecure, or anxious, their actions are typically more about their emotional experience than about us. By responding with empathy, we can foster a sense of connection and understanding, rather than perpetuating a cycle of conflict and negativity. 4. Set boundaries, firmly but calmly. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the ability to maintain control over your emotions and actions, and not to react impulsively. However, this does not mean passivity or accepting poor behavior from others. In fact, Stoicism teaches that one of the most important ways to preserve your inner peace is by setting boundaries that communicate to others that you respect yourself and will not tolerate mistreatment. Understanding the importance of boundaries. Boundaries are not about being aggressive or controlling others, rather, they are about asserting your personal limits and making clear what behavior is acceptable and what is not. When someone disrespects you, it is easy to fall into the trap of being silent, hoping the situation will resolve itself, or even internalizing the disrespect. However, this approach only allows the cycle of mistreatment to continue. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control the behavior of others, we do have control over how we respond. Setting boundaries is one of the clearest ways to assert that you will not tolerate disrespect. Boundaries are essential because they protect your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. They are not only a tool to protect yourself from others' actions but also a way to reinforce your own self-respect. By setting firm and clear boundaries, you communicate to others that you value yourself and will not allow your peace to be disturbed. The Stoic approach to boundaries. In Stoic philosophy, one of the greatest challenges we face is maintaining emotional composure in the face of external events. While we cannot control the actions of others, we have absolute power over our responses. This means that when faced with disrespect, rather than responding with anger or resentment, the Stoic approach is to calmly and firmly set a boundary that communicates your need for respect. Imagine a situation where a colleague interrupts you during a meeting, dismissing your ideas without consideration. A Stoic response would be to acknowledge the behavior without reacting emotionally. You might say, "I don't appreciate being interrupted while I'm speaking. I would appreciate it if we could have a respectful dialogue moving forward." Notice the difference between this calm, measured response and the more reactive options, getting angry, escalating the confrontation, or simply remaining silent and tolerating the disrespect. By responding in a calm and assertive way, you are asserting your right to be treated with respect without allowing the situation to turn into a personal battle. Setting boundaries without aggression. Setting boundaries firmly is important, but it is equally crucial that it is done without aggression. Stoicism teaches us that aggression is not a sign of strength but a reflection of a lack of control over our emotions. While it's necessary to stand up for yourself, that doesn't mean you need to respond with hostility or anger. Firmness is not the same as aggression. For example, if someone speaks to you in a rude tone, rather than raising your voice or retaliating in kind, you can calmly assert your boundary by saying, "I prefer to have conversations with respect. Let's communicate in a way that's constructive." This response is firm in its delivery, but it doesn't escalate the situation. You're communicating that their behavior is unacceptable, but you are not attacking them in return. This approach is rooted in the Stoic virtue of temperance, which teaches us to exercise self-control in our emotions and actions. Why setting boundaries is empowering. Setting boundaries is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. When you set clear boundaries, you reclaim your power. Disrespect, by its very nature, seeks to diminish your sense of self-worth. By setting firm boundaries, you refuse to give others the power to diminish you. This simple act of self-assertion reaffirms your value in your own eyes and ensures that others recognize that value as well. Furthermore, when you set boundaries in a calm and controlled manner, you demonstrate that you are in control of your emotions. You are not at the mercy of external forces, and you are not easily swayed by others' behaviors. This reinforces your emotional resilience, a central theme in Stoic philosophy. Boundaries and self-respect. Setting boundaries is not just about managing how others treat you, it's also a reflection of your own self-respect. When you fail to set boundaries, you implicitly communicate that you are willing to tolerate disrespect or mistreatment. However, when you clearly communicate what is acceptable behavior and what is not, you affirm to yourself that your peace and well-being are worth protecting. This act of self-respect is critical in maintaining a balanced and harmonious life. In fact, Stoicism teaches that the first and most important form of respect is the respect we give ourselves. By setting boundaries, you are showing that you respect yourself and are unwilling to allow others to infringe upon your emotional space. 5. Detach from the need for approval. A powerful lesson from Stoicism is the realization that our self-worth should not be contingent on the approval of others. In a world where social validation often plays a major role in our decisions and actions, it is easy to become dependent on the opinions of others. Whether it's the desire for praise from our peers, validation from family members, or recognition from colleagues, the pursuit of approval can be all-consuming. However, Stoicism teaches us to detach from the need for validation and to stand firm in our own integrity and sense of self-worth. The Stoic perspective on external approval. According to Stoic thought, external validation, the approval or disapproval of others, should not dictate our actions or self-perception. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "What is it that makes a man's life miserable? It is the pursuit of things that lie outside his own power." The pursuit of approval from others is one of these external things that we cannot control, and depending on them for our happiness and self-worth is a surefire way to set ourselves up for disappointment. When someone disrespects us, it is often an attempt to trigger self-doubt or insecurity. Disrespectful people might seek to diminish our sense of worth or provoke a reaction that reinforces their own position. In these situations, the need for external approval can create a vulnerability. If we rely too heavily on others' opinions for our sense of value, we may internalize their disrespect and allow it to impact our self-esteem. Reclaiming self-worth. Detaching from the need for approval means acknowledging that our value is intrinsic and independent of others' judgments. Stoicism teaches that our worth should not fluctuate based on the opinions of others. Instead, our sense of self-worth should be rooted in our own actions, virtues, and integrity. In the face of disrespect, we can draw upon the Stoic understanding that how others treat us is often a reflection of them, not of us. Their behavior cannot diminish our value unless we allow it. For example, let's say a friend belittles you in a group setting. Instead of internalizing their disrespect and doubting your own worth, a Stoic response would be to remember that their behavior speaks to their own character, not yours. You don't need their approval to affirm your worth. By detaching from the need for validation, you can respond calmly and assertively, setting boundaries and maintaining your self-respect, without feeling the need to win their approval. The power of internal validation. The key to detaching from the need for external approval is cultivating internal validation. Internal validation comes from knowing that you are living in alignment with your own values and principles, regardless of how others perceive you. In Stoic terms, this means practicing virtues such as wisdom, courage, and justice, and knowing that you are doing your best to live a virtuous life. When we rely on internal validation, we stop seeking external affirmation and begin to trust ourselves. We can look inward to evaluate whether our actions align with our values, rather than looking outward for confirmation from others. This is a critical part of developing emotional independence and resilience. Standing tall in your own integrity. Detaching from the need for approval also allows you to stand tall in your integrity, unaffected by others' judgments. Whether someone disrespects you, criticizes your work, or attempts to belittle you, your sense of self-worth is anchored in your own integrity. You can stand firm in your beliefs and actions, knowing that your value is not contingent on their approval. This ability to remain grounded in your own self-awareness is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and is essential for navigating life's challenges with composure. When you detach from the need for external validation, you stop giving power to others' judgments. Their disrespect or disapproval no longer has the power to shake your confidence or sense of self-worth. You stand tall, unwavering, and true to yourself, knowing that your integrity is what truly defines you. 6. Use disrespect as an opportunity for growth. Stoicism teaches us that every challenge, including disrespect, can be an opportunity for growth. Instead of viewing it as a setback, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Maybe it's a lesson in patience, in standing your ground, or in deepening your emotional resilience. Stoics believe that adversity is the soil in which virtue grows. By reframing disrespect as a chance for self-improvement, you turn a negative experience into a powerful tool for personal growth. 7. Don't take it personally, it's just a moment. Remember, no moment lasts forever. Disrespect is often fleeting, and it's important to remind yourself that it's just one moment in the grand scheme of things. Stoicism teaches us that the present moment is all we truly have. Don't let a fleeting act of disrespect define your entire day or your entire self-worth. By letting go of the need to hold on to negativity, you free yourself from its grip, allowing you to move forward with peace. 8. Practice gratitude and focus on the bigger picture. As we explore the principles of Stoicism and how to handle disrespect, we come to one of the most transformative lessons, the power of gratitude. It may seem counterintuitive at first. After all, when someone disrespects us, the natural reaction is often frustration, anger, or even a sense of betrayal. However, in these moments of discomfort, practicing gratitude can be the key to maintaining your emotional equilibrium and returning to a place of peace. The Stoic mindset is deeply rooted in understanding that life is full of challenges, and while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we can control how we respond. Disrespect from others, while painful, is just one fleeting moment in the vast expanse of life. By practicing gratitude and focusing on the bigger picture, we can rise above the temporary storm of negativity and stay grounded in what truly matters. Gratitude as a Stoic practice. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion, it is an essential Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, frequently reminded himself to be thankful for the good in his life, even in times of hardship. He understood that life is a mix of both favorable and unfavorable circumstances, and the key to resilience was not allowing external events to dictate his inner peace. Instead, he chose to focus on what he could control: his thoughts and his attitude toward life. The Stoics were keenly aware of the transient nature of external circumstances. Everything is temporary, and thus, the temporary discomfort caused by someone's disrespect pales in comparison to the lasting things in life that truly bring us joy and fulfillment. For the Stoics, the practice of gratitude was a way to orient their minds toward the things that matter most: virtue, relationships, health, and inner peace. Shifting focus from disrespect to what matters most. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to get caught up in the emotions of the moment. The sting of their words or actions can cloud your mind, and before long, you may find yourself spiraling into anger, frustration, or even self-doubt. In those moments, Stoic wisdom suggests taking a step back and shifting your focus away from the disrespect and toward the bigger picture of your life. In these challenging moments, ask yourself, what really matters? The answer is often not the disrespect you are experiencing, but rather the things that bring you lasting joy, peace, and fulfillment. For instance, you may be surrounded by loved ones who care about you, have a meaningful job, or possess good health, things that, when viewed in the larger context of life, provide far more lasting value than the fleeting disrespect of a single person. Gratitude is the tool that helps you shift your perspective. It is a conscious practice of looking beyond the negative moment and recognizing the abundance of blessings in your life. When you start to focus on these blessings, whether it's a fulfilling career, supportive friends and family, or personal growth, you'll quickly realize that the sting of someone's disrespect is small in comparison to all the good you have. The Stoic exercise of daily gratitude. One of the most powerful exercises for practicing gratitude in the Stoic tradition is to make it a daily habit. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, made it a point to remind himself each day of the things for which he was thankful. This act of reflection helped him keep his mind grounded, even in the midst of the challenges and pressures he faced as emperor. You can adopt a similar practice by taking a moment each day to write down or mentally note 3 things for which you are grateful. It doesn't matter how big or small these things are, as long as they remind you of what truly matters in life. These reflections could include things like: grateful for the opportunity to improve myself each day. Grateful for the love and support I receive from my family and friends. Grateful for the ability to work and provide for myself. Grateful for the simple pleasures in life, like a beautiful sunset or a good meal. By consistently practicing gratitude, you train your mind to focus on the positive, even when negative emotions arise. Over time, you'll find that it becomes easier to shift your focus away from the temporary sting of disrespect and back to the enduring things that bring you peace and joy. Gratitude as a shield against disrespect. Disrespect can feel like an emotional attack, but when we approach it through the lens of gratitude, we gain a kind of emotional immunity. Just as a shield protects us from physical harm, gratitude can protect our emotional well-being. When we are grounded in the things we are thankful for, we are less vulnerable to the sting of someone else's words or actions. Think of gratitude as a buffer that shields you from the negativity of disrespect. When someone speaks to you in a rude or dismissive way, your immediate reaction might be to feel hurt or angry. However, if you take a deep breath and remind yourself of all the positive aspects of your life, the emotional weight of the disrespect begins to diminish. This does not mean that you should accept disrespect or let it slide, but rather that you refuse to let it consume you. By focusing on the things that truly matter to you, you maintain your emotional stability and are better equipped to respond with wisdom and composure. Gratitude and perspective, seeing the bigger picture. Another powerful aspect of practicing gratitude is that it allows you